Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Ravi State Physio. So in the series of medical physiotherapy's laws and ethics, so first module I have to be completed, next module is to be now started. So the next module 2 and the first topic is autonomy and informed consent. So let's study about that. So what is the autonomy? The patient autonomy and informed consent form core principle in Indian medical and physiotherapy law and ethics, rooted in constitutional right and professional codes. So it is very essential to take autonomy of informed consent towards the patient before starting any procedure of the treatment. So autonomy refers to the patient right to make decision about their own body and treatment after receiving adequate information free from concern. So it is have to patient right to aware about all treatment procedure during are also provided by the therapist or doctor. So it is the free from concern, and also the informed consent form must signed by the patient by oneself voluntarily. Key elements of autonomy. So first, freedom to choose or refuse the treatment. Freedom to choose, it means any kind of like alternative option the patient have to be chose. There is not suit like they not like to electrotherapy treatment and refers to the physical treatment. So also they have right to choose refuse the treatment. Either it will be electrotherapy or like any kind of gadgets. So there is a on right into the informed consent before like sign to the patient. The patient have to right to like refuse them and like decline them the treatment procedure. Right to ask question. Like if the patient have any queries related to treatment procedure, so they will ask, and the therapist and doctor have to must tell about the whole procedure before starting any kind of treatment procedure towards the patient. Respect for personal values and beliefs. Any patient have different caste and different religion, they have own values. So patient is like have to be like on jewelry, on their have any kind of costumes they have wear about that. So therapist and doctor may have to be asked before starting the therapy, so it will be removed or not, and patient have right to remove either ornaments or jewelry or their costumes. So the patient have fully right to tell us to the therapist, so I am not suitable for that, so you can't. So that is the values of the beliefs. So the next is participation in the treatment planning. The therapist must ensure about the patient is also aware about the whole treatment procedure and also the subsequent alternatives and any other there is potential harm dangers. So before must aware about the therapist or also the patient. Next is to be importance in physiotherapy of autonomy. The patient can accept or refuse modalities or exercise. You have to be aware about that. The patient and like fear about that these modalities. So if they can't do, so it will be refused by their herself. Therapist must explain procedure and alternatives. There is any kind of any option B and plan B, so it will be treat or heal them. So therapist must aware about like tell us to patients, so there is a plan option B is there. And respect patient modesty and privacy. So patient any kind of have wear jewelry and costume, and also they have shared any kind of such information which is have to be private and psychology related issue have to be shared towards the therapist or like doctor. So the doctor have make sure about that to keep confidentiality of their any kind of such reports and such details about the patient. So next is to be physiotherapist must respect patient dignity, provide honest information, maintain confidentiality, and refers needed aligning with border patient right law. So you have to be a patient must have to maintain their like if you're saying such information towards the therapist or doctor, so therapist and doctor have to keep confidential and private of their such information, and you have to be provide such a good manners and better quality treatment procedure towards the patient with the have to be patient right law. So that is the autonomy of the whole procedure. Next is to be informed consent. So informed consent is the voluntary agreement of the patient for examination or treatment after being properly informed. So informed consent is to be validated or voluntary, have to be signed by verbally or also in the manually into the written form by the patient on the therapist or a doctor consent form. So consent is to be applied for the routine assessment but requires express verbal or written form requires for the invasive for the risk intention. So during the provide any kind of treatment procedure, You have to be giving the wrong treatment, and there is a not mention in their consent form. So patient, it will take against action up to medical legal cases towards on you. So you have to be keep this thing in your mind. You have to provide such treatment procedure they have written in a consent form. Either if not, so it will be claimed for you by the patient in the medical legal cases. Essential components of informed consent. First is competence. Patient is mentally capable. So the therapist provide any treatment procedure towards the patient. So patient have mentally capable to voluntarily sign to the consent form. There is acceptance of the aware about the such treatment procedure. If not, so you can sign by the attender or the family member. Next is to be disclosure, nature, benefits, risk, alternatives. So this such information have to be shared towards the patient. Or there is a benefits, there is a potential harm, there is risk, there is alternative option. If you either not choose this modality, so I will have this modality. If there is not you have to choose the modalities, I will have a therapeutic approach. So that kind of key elements decided by the patient, and therapist must tell us the alternative towards the patient. Next is to be understanding. Patient comprehends information. So it means you have to be provide any kind of treatment procedure. Make sure the patient have aware about the such treatment procedure before starting any kind of treatment. So understanding is must important during any treatment procedure. So you have to boost up the patient mind, and psychologically also have to be healed of the patient. Next is to be voluntariness. No pressure. If you have no any kind of such option into the modality, so you have to be no any right to force him to choose such things for the treatment procedures. Patient have fully right to choose either yes or either not. It's going to sign into the consent form. Next is to be documentation. Make sure you have to be if patient have any suffer any for any kind of harmful effect. So if you are not trapped into the medical legal cases, so you have to write before the starting procedure of the treatment, you have to be sign on the consent form of into the written or also into verbal form. Type of consent. There is an implied routine examination, express verbal or written surgery invasive procedure. Proxy consent is to be guardian. So that are such type of consent has to be signed by guardian, like attender or like family member, or also the routine examiner, senior doctor. So that kind of consent form have to be shown into your medical field. Next would be right of the patient. What kind of right of the patient into the informed consent? Patients are legally and ethically entitled to the patient have to be fully right and ethically right to entitled with the right or to respect care, full care. So if you provide any kind of treatment, either it will be poor, either it will be rich. So both have to be, you have to be treat equally manner, not think about their gender biasness, rich and poor biasness. Next is to be right to information. You have to be provide full information towards the patient if you're providing any kind of such treatment procedure. Next is to be right to consent or refusal. Patient have right to either sign or not sign, and also refusal or such alternative option choose. You have to be in before starting any kind of procedure by the patient over the treatment procedure on the therapist or a doctor. Right to confidentiality. Patient have right, have to share such information about the family, such information about the test report, such information about their psychology problem. So you have to be either doctor or either therapist. Keep confidential of such information. Don't share with other attender, colleagues, staffs, and senior doctor. Either patient have not have to be told to you if you can share such information or not. And also keep this thing in your mind. Ask patient before you have to record any kind of videos for you have to be post into the social media handle. So you have to be right. Patient have to be right to refuse them. You have to be not right to record my video and post into the social media handle. So that is the informed consent and autonomy. Thank you.